my friends with 3-octave scales to practice, I thought I would do a little bit of a kind of practice along with me video on some of your 3-octave scales, just to give you a better sense of some different ways that you can practice 3-octave scales, and some different things that you can be thinking about while you practice them. So today we're going to talk about your 3-octave C major scale. Couple things about how I play my 3-octave C major scale. First thing is that I'm going to use what are called the flesh fingerings, and that's not flesh like skin flesh, that's Flesch, the German musician Karl Flesch, who wrote a lot of books about how to play your instrument. And in the Flesch books for violin and viola, it says that all 3-octave scales should start on second finger. So if I'm playing a 3-octave scale, I'm going to start it on my second finger. If for C major, that would be starting in second position. And then the other thing is that to make all of my stop bows and rhythm bows that I'm going to use today come out evenly, I'm going to put what's called a turn at the beginning. And the turn means that instead of playing just straight through the scale, I'm going to play the first 4 notes. I'm going to play the first note. Sorry, Kingsley is having some kind of rabbit chasing dream at the podium here. I'm going to play the first note, third note, second note, first note. And then I'm going to go all the way up my scale. When I get back down to the bottom, I'm going to play the turn one more time just to finish it out. So you'll figure it out as you play along. Just know that it's 1, 3, 2, 1 in terms of scales. In terms of my fingers, it's actually 2, 4, 3, 2, but whichever way is easier for you to think about. I'm also going to put on, for all of these scales, a drone. I downloaded the Tonal Energy app, which is really awesome because not only does it have a tuner and a metronome, but you can also put on multiple drones at the same time. So I'm going to put on a C drone and a G drone. Those are 2 really good pitches that would make for good use of tuning your 3-octave C scale. I'm going to start with just big, full bows to warm up my fingers. Kingsley thinks that this is a really interesting sound. He might stand up and visit us in a minute. Stop bow practicing. Here's what my scale sounds like with 2 stops. I set my next finger in between each of those stops. Here's what 3 stops sounds like. Here's 4. Here's 6. Here's 8. And here's 12. And I usually do a big wide vibrato like that at the end of all of my scale patterns, just to kind of shake out my hand and loosen up my fingers a little bit. And then the last step that I normally do when I'm practicing a 3-octave scale is to do practice rhythms. So I'm going to do 5 more times through the scale. The first time I'm going to do a long first note. The second time I'm going to do a long second note. The third time I'm going to do a long third note. The fourth time I'm going to do a long fourth note. And then the 5th time I'm going to play the whole scale pretty quickly and see how it goes and keep my fingers really agile that way. So I'll turn my drone back on and then I will start my rhythm patterns. Long second note. Long third note. And long fourth note. And then fast through all of them. And that big shake at the end to loosen up my fingers. So that's my scale routine. Just so you know, when I play, when I'm practicing, I normally do all of those patterns every single time that I take out my violin at the beginning of the day to practice. But especially if those patterns are new or unfamiliar, I would recommend starting with maybe just a couple of the stop bow patterns and then building up. But the more of those patterns you get used to and the more ingrained they become in your hand and fingers, the the easier that you'll start to find that it is to play more difficult passages in your music. Plus, it's just a really solid warm-up. It warms up all of the things about your playing. It warms up your bow, it warms up your left hand, it warms up your shifting, and it's a really great way to start off your practicing day. So let me know if you have questions about that, and next week we'll do some G major practicing together. Have fun!